Morning guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Massive drama going down last night in the VCT Kickoff for the Americas yesterday. Cloud9 already eliminated from the tournament by MLBL. So much reaction, certainly from the likes of Rossi, who was controversially removed from the roster not that long ago. Their coach threatening to potentially resign from his position if things don't improve. And Boost Joe beefing everyone on the timeline as a result. Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. Confirmation yesterday on the COOKED Academy going into the new season. We know that M80, they're building their roster. We'll see that in a second. Of course, Nismo was formerly the man over there. But no, this is the COOKED Academy. Knights, T-Dog, Scuba, Nismo, and Redux. That's your roster of 5. Exciting team, I would say, actually, from top to bottom in this one, especially because they have Dapper as their coach as well. So, former Sentinels man, now a Sentinels man again. And, yeah, there's no doubt the Sentinels are taking this pretty damn seriously. They've got their COOKED Academy in play. They've got some next up talent on their roster. Of course, we talked about it before, that the likes of Redux, who it's nice to see him still with Scuba after the Oxygen Esports days last year. And, of course, the same is true for Dapper on that roster going to the COOKED Academy. But, yeah, there is a feeling that the likes of Redux may pretty likely arrive on the Sentinel starting roster at some point in the future if they decide that they need to try and make a change. Now, there is also the M80 roster we'll discuss here in a second. Before we get there, though, you know, have a look at this, really. This is the Sentinel setup. They've got John QT, they've got Narrate, they've got Zekken, they've got Zelsis, Bang, and Kaplan as the coach over there. And then they can feel free to scrim T-Dog, Nismo, Redux, Scuba, Knights, and Dapper as the coach over there. So, you know, pretty impressive setup really from Sentinels, because if you want to try some new ideas in scrims or whatever, you don't necessarily want to try that against some other team that is going to take notes of the compositions you're using. Whereas if you have a full academy team that you can play against, that does offer you some advantages, especially if the academy team is actually pretty good. And it helps improve your academy team as well, which can only really be a positive in the longer term. Quickly on M80, as I said, this looks to be what they're going for. So Drew Spark, of course, is the head coach, B-Dog among others. Now, B-Dog is certainly a name that we will be paying attention to in the near future, because he is a player that the Furia fans may well want back in their roster, but it's not going to happen. This seems to be the team. B-Dog, Caio, Okonos, Barnbauer, a player that I'm not especially familiar with. Sato, I believe, is like a pretty cracked Brazilian, like AWPer, basically. So keep him in mind. And then we did as well, rounding out what potentially could be the team. So yeah, we'll see if that goes anywhere, but potentially that's going to be the roster. I thought it was pretty funny as well. Team Vitality were taking the team or the VCT scrims template to the next level. This clearly is just a little bit photoshopped, up 97-0. But yeah, it would be nice, I suppose, for them. And we'll get into some of the results they may have in that region in a second. 100T, just because we are going to discuss Boost Joe talking a bit of trash in a few minutes' time. Worth noting that, again, they played Trust in Plug, and it was 11-7. So yeah, man, these Trust in Plug guys really just have Boost Joe and the boys' number, it seems. But it's practice at the end of the day. Let's talk China, though, because we know that this Kickoff has not taken any breaks. They are just cracking on every single day. There are some matches. And yesterday, we saw the couple of confirmations, right? Trace Esports did take down Billy in the end. We saw it when it was just as the Lotus was getting underway. But Trace Esports got the job done, and they became the first team in the entire world to qualify for Masters Bangkok. So congratulations to Trace Esports. They've made quite the run. And as we, to be honest, expected, Edward Gaming handled business big time against DRG. They honestly swept them aside. I will say, interesting, having 13 O'd. Now, who did they play in the round before? Yeah, XLG, right? So they 13 O'd XLG on the decider. And yet, Dragon Ranger Gaming were like, yeah, you want to play Haven again? I mean, DRG even picked it. DRG picked Haven into Edward Gaming, who had just 13 O'd XLG. And then they got 13 O'd themselves. It's like, well, you know, are we trying to win here, or what's going on? It's got to be pretty demoralizing at that point for DRG when you've seen Edward 13-0 a team on Haven the previous day. You think, well, you know, we've watched their VOD, we can do that back to them, we're good at Haven, we'll pick it, we'll beat them on it. And then you get completely annihilated 13-0 yourself, and you think, right, we've got no chance here. So, you know, Chichu was 14-1 KD ratio. The Pearl was 13-9, closer to be fair, but nobody had a good map on the Sova, and that was over. So, yeah, Edward get the job done 2-0, they advance, and as it stands, Edward are on the verge, potentially, of getting the job done here in the lower final. This, of course, the best of 5. Billy have just gone down in a 14-12 on the Haven, on on the Pearl, sorry, and now it's Haven upcoming. So assuming that Edward can get the job done again on Haven, not saying they're going to 13-0, but you know, if they deliver a solid performance, that's going to be a difficult lead to surmount. So it does look like, as it stands, we'll find out over the next couple of hours after this video goes live, but it does look like Edward are on the verge of making it through to yet another international tournament, and they'll play Trace in the finals to see who's currently the best team in the region, although Trace destroyed them just a couple of rounds ago. But this is how Edward usually do it. They lose at some point and then they dominate everyone from there on out. Whether that's how it will conclude, we shall see. This was a big result as well, yesterday in the EMEA side. Carmine Corp gone. We know that their roster was put together with Sardak trying to lead up a crew of talented individuals from around the world, but it doesn't seem to be working so far. Sardak was actually top performer on the team, and Ave, Martin, Elite, not really anywhere to be found. So, yeah, concerning to say the least there. In Giantex, they knock them out of the tournament. Good series here from Purpo. I do like the Giantex, like the players they've put together here. I actually think there's probably a bit more talent here than there even is on KC, as far as I'm concerned. But, yeah, it worked out in their favour anyway. Map 1 Bind went 14-12 to Carmine Corp, but after that, it continued to be close. But after a 13-8 Lotus, the Fracture was then 13-10. So, yeah, Sadak and the guys out of the tournament, not a great look for them. The other thing to mention here is the fact that this game went so late. I don't know what they're doing with the scheduling in EMEA, but this match finished after one of the Americas matches had finished, which is just outrageous. It was like 1 a.m. in Europe, if not like further on than that, when these games concluded. So not really sure what they're playing at there, but this was a banger. Fnatic get the job done just about, and it was mainly Kayak here and Alpha who had a great couple of series. It was good to see Kayak turn up after a questionable start to his career, really. The Fnatic was 13-9 on the Pearl, sorry, and then Fracture went the other way around on the Fnatic's pick, and then the Haven was an absolute banger. 15-13, insane conclusion to this one on round 28. This was that moment if you guys haven't seen it. So Koala Noob goes in and quickly goes down, and then, you know, Alpha's trying his best to survive at the back of the site. Shao then gets one, Crashies goes down, all of a sudden Chronicles trying his best, and Kayak finds himself in a 1 versus 2 here, and it's looking like, wow, you know, here we go again, 14-14. Kayak, of course, makes his way over from the other bomb site, manages to find his way into the site with the Yoru, and gets both kills and calls it a day. So, yeah, quite the moment here from Kayak, really, to close out the series. 15-13, and that is a telling moment, really, because they trusted that guy to replace Durka, and that's exactly what he's, to some degree, done so far. Before we get to this one, actually, just to look at the way that EMEA is looking, right? So Fnatic advance, they all play the winner of Gentlemates and Movistar, but wow, that was a close series. Carmine Corp gone. Giantex will play the winner of Liquid and Apex. That's coming up very soon. Let's talk Furia EG. This Furia team, when it was B-Dog and the boys, they looked great. Now it's these guys, I mean, like, again, it's a classic case, really, with these Furia rosters. It doesn't seem to matter what pieces they put together. The talent is there, but, you know, the fundamentals are basically non-existent. So EG didn't really have that much to do, I didn't think, to win this series, and that's what they did. Ye was obviously happy with the win. It was 13-7, 13-7, I think, yeah, on the Fracture as well, and pretty crushing victory, really, for the Evil Geniuses guys. So they advance in the tournament. As Ye says, 2-0 versus Furia, happy for the win. We'll see how they can get on after this, because their next game is going to be more challenging, you would imagine, on paper. This, though, was the big series that caused a lot of the drama last night. Cloud9 back in action. They won their first round game against NRG. They then got crushed by G2. They went down to losers. This was the first losers bracket round. If you're out of this, you're out of the tournament immediately. And that's exactly what happened. They went down 2-1 to MIBR. Again, the conversion here from, let's just say, Zeppa, for example, from, I mean, look, it's not like he plays bad on every match, but there is a general feeling that in scrims, compared to in regular matches, or in matches that, like, elimination games, or something that really matters, maybe C9 just find a way to underdeliver. And this is another such series. I mean, look, Aspas, great series from him on MIBR, of course, and they won the Lotus, though, 13-7. Sure, the Abyss doesn't go their way 13-10, but on the Pearl, they've got to back themselves, especially after a 3-0 start, to get more than 7 rounds here. This was an ugly map, really, for Cloud9. And C9 already eliminated from the Americas kickoff, right? So Furia are gone, Cloud9 are gone as well. 2-0ing NRG, getting 2-0'd by G2, and now bowing out to MIBR. So MIBR play EG in the next round. That could be a potential banger. Of course, today, very shortly, tonight, these are the two games. 100T NRG is obviously the one that we are very much looking forward to seeing how that one might end up potentially playing out. But yeah, C9 have gotten lots of reaction to it. Rooney says, after being on the team, then off the team, then on the team again, he says, one more time, right? Is it time to bring me back again? One more. Jake says, I'll match Whippy's giveaway, because Whippy and Jake, former Cloud9 guys, are saying, look, if Cloud9 doesn't replace players after the kickoff, I'll give away 5 SEN bundles. And Jake says, I'll match Whippy's giveaway, like this tweet to enter. So, yeah, basically they're saying they've got to blow it up. This roster has run its course again. They've made multiple changes, and it's relatively rarely done anything valuable for the team. We also know that they love Cloud9 dropping someone and bringing them back. So maybe it's time they get rid of Imi as the coach, they bring MCE back in or something like that. Maybe it's time for minus Rossi plus Rossi again. Rossi, of course, has a smiley face because he's watching this on and saying, look, no hate in my heart. I pray for everyone every day. But I'm sure that there must have been a little bit of a grin on his face when this result went down. Even Imi, their coach, was seemingly saying on stream that he is potentially expecting that they're going to fire him after this result. And if he doesn't get fired, but if the players get fired, then he's just going to resign. So, yeah, it's not looking good, is it, internally over there at Cloud9. And Boostio then decides to slam them again. He says the following: Cloud9 in scrims, fire emoji. Wow, these guys are cooking, looking really good. Cloud9 in matches, not looking so good. Now look, they beat NRG. They dropped NRG down to losers, where they're going to play 100 Thieves, as we full well know, this evening. But still, Boostio making his thoughts very clear on Cloud9 being a bit of a scrim merchant team, as it were. And Leaf then says, of course, from G2, same with 100T, to be honest. Winner, Masters, Odd Champs until then don't speak. And Leaf says, when did 100T win either of those? And okay, maybe fair enough, unless you count some of the big tourneys from back in the day, like last year's Americas. But of course, Boostio is a world champion and Leaf isn't. So I thought it interesting drama, because Leaf's kind of maybe understandably defending some of the Cloud9 guys, but he's not on that organization anymore. He doesn't necessarily need to. But very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.